set up exactly the same that the lead acid one is, but lead acid has a 3-stage charging system, so it does bulk, absorption, and float. This just basically does bulk and then float. Hello everyone, this is David with Tigner Adventures, and today we are going to do a couple modifications on our motorhome. We are currently in Warner Robins, Georgia, staying at my daughter's and son-in-law's house, and the heat index yesterday was 108. Today it's kind of rainy, so it's actually a little cooler this morning, so this is kind of nice. And so I thought, you know, this would be a good time to actually jump out here and make a couple changes on our rig. And because it's been so hot, we have been running our mini split air conditioner 24 hours a day, 7 days a week since we arrived in Georgia. Now, if you look back at this video, that was when we installed our mini split. We actually took out our old AC units that were on our roof, and we also got rid of our generator because we don't typically ever use it because we're solar. And we put in a mini split from Pioneer, and that's an air conditioner unit. Has the head unit that goes inside, and it also has a compressor unit that goes outside, and we put that in our generator bay. That is working out really well. But on these nice hot days, it really starts drawing some amperage, and so we can easily go through, run out our batteries by the end of the day running the AC, even with the solar going. And so what we've been doing is we've been offsetting the solar with our charger right here. So this is a Progressive Dynamics IntelliPower battery charger. It's actually meant for lead acid batteries, and if you look at this video, we actually have upgraded to lithium. And in that video I mentioned that the battery charger, since it only was lead acid, was only going to be used to kind of offset the solar, all right? Because this particular charger, I keep calling it a charger, but it's a converter slash charger. So anyway, what it does is it actually charges the batteries up to 13.6 volts, and our lithium batteries want a voltage of 13.9 to 14.6. So on our solar charge controller, we have it set at 13.9, and that's what it's charging the batteries to, and this will only go up to 13.6. And so the idea was that the solar was going to be doing its job, and this is just helping out a little bit. But since we're back here, back east, and we hardly have any solar, it's been doing all the job. And so it's not quite getting the voltage out to the batteries that the batteries want. Now, the guy at customer service for Progressive Dynamics mentioned that I can push the little, it has a little charge wizard button I can push, and that will bump it up so that it actually does 14.4 volts, and it does that for somewhere around 2 to 4 hours, and then it drops back down again. And that's really meant for the lead acid batteries to basically, you know, boil the plates, you know, to kind of clean the plates off and everything from the lead. But in lithium's case, it doesn't have any of that kind of stuff, but it just wants the higher voltage. So I could be coming out here every day pushing that to do it and everything, but I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just put in a lithium charger. So I have already purchased one right here. So it's another IntelliPower, and so we're gonna, it's set up exactly the same that the lead acid one is, but lead acid has a 3-stage charging system, so it does bulk, absorption, and float. This just basically does bulk and then float. So it's a little different in that sense. This one also puts out 14.6 volts as normal, so it's always putting out 14.6 volts, and so it will really only kick on when the solar's not there, because the solar's putting out 13.9. This guy's going to kind of look at it according to the customer service guy and say, you know what, I don't need to help because he's doing the perfect job at it. But if it starts dropping down, then this will kick in and give us our extra voltage to make sure that our batteries stay charged up. So anyway, we're going to try this out. Now I wanted to tell you, I'm going to kind of compare these. This is I like this charge. It's a converter slash charger. I like that. It's a pretty good company. This particular unit has filtered DC, so it sends out the filtered a good DC current, so that my inverter is getting a good current, and my batteries are getting a good, filtered current. It's not going all over the place. It has electronic current limiting, which reduces the output that's charging out if the unit itself starts getting too hot. And it's got a fan in there that ramps up, but if it can't keep the unit cool enough, then it will actually lower the voltage output of it going to the batteries, or amperage, not voltage, but amperage going to the batteries, so that the unit can not overheat and damage the actual unit. And so the other thing it has is it has a high-low voltage, and so if the voltage that you're plugged into drops too far, then it lowers the output amperage and everything. It drops everything down and everything too, so that it doesn't ruin itself, and it will just shut off if it has to. So it's they're both, whether you're using the lead acid one or the lithium one, they both work pretty nice. The biggest difference really between the two is how much voltage they put out. That's really the only difference. So lead acid's only doing the 13.6 normal, and the lithium is doing 14.6 normal. So that's the biggest differences there. In our particular case, because we're using it to offset, and in this case we're not getting any solar, we're parked under trees, or it's just raining every day, then this will help get the batteries up to their peak voltage, so that they stay up at the top percent there. So anyway, today we're going to be doing two different jobs. We're going to be doing two different things. If you look at this video, I actually upgraded my wiring here to this really heavy duty extension cord. And the reason it is because I kind of burned the rig up. I burned this, you can see this is all melted and everything, and so that's what that video is talking about, and the reason I upgraded. But this is I was slamming the door down on my past extension cord too, which probably didn't help out a lot. And so I have to leave this door open all the time with this big heavy cord here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole, and we're going to install this little guy. So this opens up, and you put the extension cord up from the bottom, comes up through here, and you just, it closes down here, and the cord itself will come through there. So that's going to work out really nice. That way I can keep the door closed. I don't have to worry about anything else getting in there, or keep the door closed for protection of things not disappearing. So the second thing is we're going to go ahead and put this, mount this. This is basically just going to be a switch over, because it's the same identical size as the other one. We're just going to basically take that one out and slide this one in its place. So that's what we're going to get working on. And the first thing we're going to start with is this. All right, our hole is drilled, and our little adapter will fit in there just great. So all this is plywood. So it's about a 1/2 inch sheet of plywood, and then there's a little piece of aluminum that is actually underneath to protect the plywood from water. So anyway, this fits in there perfect. The next step I'm going to do is that, since that's only a 1/2 inch, I really don't want all of this sticking out below. And so I'm going to take my mark this and take my little oscillating saw here, and I'm just going to cut that off. The other thing I don't like is how you have to kind of push the cord through these little flange things here. That's kind of a hassle. So anyway, so I'm just going to trim that off, put this in here, and we'll just screw that down, and that piece of it will be done. All right. Okay, that's off there. All right, so I have this all screwed down, and if we go down underneath here, You can see that it's just barely hanging out down here. I'm going to go ahead and put silicone all around the edge there, and then I'll spray it with black underlayment, so it'll all be black and protected from any of the road grime also. Basically, I'm just trying to keep it from doing anything to the wood, getting inside that underneath that aluminum and rotting out that wood right there. So anyway, that part's done. We're going to move on to our next piece. All right, so here is our charger inverter that we're going to go ahead and remove. We've got two cables coming in here, one positive, one negative from the battery, and then we just have our power plug. And then we just have it screwed into the sides here, along with a ground rod right here. So we have a ground cable coming into the ground piece of this. The first thing to do before we start taking this all apart is I have disconnected the battery. I've got to turn off the solar. So there's no power going to the battery now at all. The battery bank is completely shut off. No power going to anything. So we are ready to start taking this apart. All right, those are out. And I also have this ground wire right here. This is actually grounding from here down to my chassis. So I'm going to take that out, and we can just use a flathead screwdriver on that. All right, there we go. Oh, just come out there, okay. All right, so it's got some little notches in here. So these two screws, I just had to loosen a little bit, and then this one over here, I just take off and I can just slide it out of there. So anyway, we are done and out. And if you look here, this is our battery connections right there that we took out. So now, if we look at the new one, again, it is set up exactly the same way. So the key here is positive and negative. Now, in this particular case, I'm just swapping this out. But if you were putting in this brand new, then you're going to have to. This is a grounding cable here. It's a number 6 ground or number 6 copper that you plug into that, and then you run that and you bolt it to your frame of your vehicle. That's your main ground of your vehicle. And then so there's that one. And then these two right here are the connections that actually go to the battery. Now these are. I'm using a 2-gauge wire. At the time, I thought that was better, all right? But it's actually set up to use 2 4-gauge. And a lot of times you'll see where they have 2 wires running into one single lug that hooks to your battery. In that case, this is what this is all about. So you would have 2 4-gauge wires running from here to one big lug that would be put onto your battery. 2 4-gauge wires actually carry more amperage than one 2-aught cable, even though the 2-aught's a little bit bigger. In all, copper-wise, 2 4s are actually bigger than 1 2. So eventually, I'll probably go ahead and swap that out. I've been doing this for 4 years now or so, and it's been fine. But the problem is getting that 2-aught cable into this connector. It just barely fits into that connector. So anyway, that's what we're going to do next. So if you were doing this from brand new, I would put 2 4-gauges together here and run those and strip them, and then just put one big lug on the end of that, putting those two together, and then putting those onto your battery. Okay, we have that all installed there. We have the power reran. I've connected it back through my surge protector, and now I need to, I'm going to use this converter on the surge protector, and here's our big heavy duty cable, and we're going to go ahead and open this up, and this will just slide right up through there. That's nice. Go back down there, lock into place. So that's pretty cool. So we'll just kind of pull up a little bit of slack here, and we're ready to plug this into the wall outlet. there we go. All right, we just need to turn the breaker on now. And I can hear this humming away. All right, it is in, it's working. So that's pretty exciting. So I probably should mention to you that there are different versions. This version I've got is an 80 amp. So it's gonna push out up to 80 amps of power to the battery. In that case, my batteries can take that. Yours may not. They also have anything all the way down to like 20 and 30 amp versions. Now I got all my equipment here that you see back behind me here, I got from Continuous Resources. In my description below, I put some links in there for Amazon, so you can see that that's available on Amazon. But if you go to Continuous Resources and select that option that I have there, then there's a coupon code for 5% off, and it actually ends up being cheaper to order it from Continuous Resources. And the thing I really love about this company is that the customer support is top notch, so it's really, really good. So I like buying my stuff from there. I can text them anytime, I can email them, and they'll answer any questions that I have. So that's really helpful, and that's something that you don't get off of Amazon. So I put the links there in case maybe you're Prime and you don't want to pay shipping or whatever the case may be, and you just have to use Amazon. You can get there's those links there that at least get you started shopping around to see what version or what size that you might want. So, but these guys are pretty good. So I would suggest going with Continuous Resources if you can. But anyway, that completes our little setup today. We've got our cord here coming up through there. I can actually close the door now, and I won't have to worry about things getting in there or people getting in there. And it'll be all taken care of. So this is going to be working out pretty nice for us. So anyway, we will be getting back on the road here really shortly. So this is one thing I wanted to get done before we went back out, because we are going up into some other areas in the East Coast here that are going to be pretty a lot of trees, pretty shady, and we won't get any solar, so this will be nice that we have this. And we also have our old unit. If this one to have problems, we have our old unit to fall back on. So we rely on our AC power so much. It's nice to be self-contained, but it's also nice to have some backups in case you need to swap things out when you're out in the middle of nowhere. So but with that said, I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this will help you. It's a really good charge controller converter. It's a pretty nice little setup. If you haven't used one before, it's actually pretty nice. So anyway, that's my suggestion there, so for whatever it's worth. So thanks for watching. Hope we'll see you down the road somewhere, and if not, maybe you'll be on our next video. So take care.